Hi, it's me, playing Limbus Company. Today is July 19th, and we're here to check out new target extraction. That being not to thread. Target extraction of Cinq South Section 5 Director Don Quixote. Before I start, the other new thing that's come out today is Uptie 4, and the annoying thing is that it displays the Uptie 4 stats in the shop. So, the way this is going to work from now on is I'm going to pull the identity first, uptie it to 3, level it up, and then we'll go over the stats at Uptie 3. And then after we've done the test run of a fight, I'm going to go over the stats at Uptie 4, because I'll be honest with everybody, Uptie 4 is not super beginner friendly, and I don't want these overviews to just be for hardcore viewers of the game. I want anybody to come in, see the new stuff at a tier that they can reasonably obtain it, because level 30 Uptie 3 isn't that resource intensive, in my opinion. But until then, the point where it's reasonable for everybody to have Uptie 4 stuff, I'm not going to go over everything in Uptie 4. Also, because I don't have nearly enough resources to do that myself right now. So, yeah. I am probably just going to shard this one, but I'm going to do my 4 cheat pulls from Paid Lunacy quick.
그대가 나와 결투할 자인가?
God. She looks so smug, and I hate it.
인정받는다는 것은 언제나 명예로운 일이지. 감사를 표하겠네.
Please come thee hither. The child strode through the alley, excitement clear in her eyes. Following closely behind her was a woman with a small notepad in her hands. What? Who? Wait, but the purpose of this interview was to learn about the kind of jobs that the Cinq Association would take. Thou art learning at this very moment. No, we're just taking a scroll through the alleys. The woman, fidgeting with the notepad, was growing increasingly and visibly disappointed. When she landed this interview, she was excited at the prospect of learning more of the Cinq Association's work environment, which has remained rather obscure until now. And here she was, tagging along to this director's leisurely afternoon stroll about the alleyways. Thou art yet to understand. That the child's nonchalance was unrelenting, as she grinned and wagged her index finger at the woman. I ask thee, what dost thou think the primary function of the Cinq Association is? Well, it's a dueling association, isn't it? You fight duels in your client's stead, and stuff like that, right? Haha, forsooth, thou art indeed yet to understand. You're not about to tell me that you seek out evildoers to duel them in the name of justice, are you? It's not like you guys are pretending to be bringers of justice or anything like that. There were reports claiming that you had some odd delusions of grandeur, but that'd be preposterous. I mean, you couldn't possibly have gotten so far in this industry with such a childish philosophy, right? Hem! She coughed as though the interviewer had touched upon a sensitive subject, but responded confidently. Patently not, of course. I must say my motivation was something of a more practical nature. As they walked out of the alleyway, 2 people, surrounded by a large crowd and appearing ready to throw down, came into view. What is this? Was there a request? Nay, I have relayed what request there was to other members of the association. Then what is... Dost thou see now? 'Tis too commonplace an occurrence, kerfuffles such as this in these alleys. Thus, it's the Cinq Association. Oh boy, am I glad to have one of you here. Let me request you to duel in my stead. What? Oh, you cheeky little... Me too. Now, calm thyselves. Now, explain, what hath transpired here? Hearing what the two had to say, the child took off one of her gloves. Ahem! Then mine client has been decided, and hurled it at the one standing opposite of her. There are rules and etiquette to proposing a proper duel. I cannot forgive thee, knave, thou who holler with nary a care for such things. You son of a... Alas, I must wonder what part of this noble duel request irks thee so. Now step aside, dear interviewer. The child drew her sword from the waist and readied herself. Allez! The duel ended swiftly, with the defeat of the one that had been slapped by the glove. Amazing. Such haste. This was not to be amazed about. Ah, make thy payment for the request to this address. The child handed a card to the profusely bowing client before returning to the interviewer. Heroes fighting in the name of justice. Indeed, such a notion may appear childish in the city. If performed in the form of business such as this, however, they consider it a real result worth counting. And that is my compromise. What say you? Is it still a childish delusion? With that, she smiled radiantly. God, I hate Dawn so much. She's so annoying. I dislike her. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me get her to level 30 because this actually does matter. Sure, I don't... The level 1 boost tickets really just do not matter. So, absolutely. It only saved me 2 silver tickets, but whatever. Alright. So, let's go over level 30 Uptie 3 first. First off, 140 HP, 4 to 7 speed is very good. The HP is maybe a little high, honestly. This is the same speed as this Faust, and it has slightly more HP, so that's intriguing, to say the least. So, I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm assuming it's Remise, or Remise, or whatever. 4 to 10... At 7 plus speed, coin power plus 1, so that becomes a 4 to 12. Clash win, gain 1 haste next turn. Heads hit after clash is a new activator. Inflict 1 bind next turn on the second coin. That is a very powerful skill one. It doesn't do a lot, but it does inflict bind, give her haste, and has a very nice roll range. So I can't say anything bad about it. Skill 2, Flesh. Flesh, fish, yeah, whatever. 5 to 15. That's exactly what I predicted it would be. Gain 2 haste next turn on use, and heads hit, inflict 1 bind next turn. So, this is almost the same. It's actually better than the first skill in every way. It's literally just a better version of this, because you don't need to clash to gain haste, and you don't need to win a clash in order to inflict binds on heads hit. It gives more haste. The only thing it doesn't have is the coin power boost. So that's really good. Skill 3, Salut. At 10 plus speed, coin power plus 2. This is a 6 to 18 normally, so it becomes a 6 to 20. No, a 6 to 22, which is insane. But you do have to be at 10 speed, which is a lot. Clash win, deal more damage based on clash count, plus 5% per clash count, up to 50%. That's insane. On hit, declared duel. It doesn't have the keyword attached to declare duel, so give me a moment while I pull up what that actually does. Really quick. I don't know why it's not written on here. Duel is, in a clash between the unit that inflicted declared duel and the unit with the status, the declarer has plus X clash power, and gains haste next turn after a successful attack. Effect lifted when the unit that declared the duel declares it on a different target, replaced when another unit declares a duel. So, basically, this is an ID that likes targeting the same target over and over again, which during boss fights is very good, and that is a lot of clash power. This can roll up to 24 easily. Actually, no, it's 23 because it's clash power and not coin power. I'm assuming duel doesn't stack, but it is phrased as a variable on the tweet, so I have no idea. It might be able to clash, to stack even. Alright, let me close that now. Defense. Defensive. It's a 4 to 14 evade, which is actually really good, and it makes targets lose SP on successful evade. This is a really good defense skill. Defense skills typically are bad. Evades are the exception. They are just okay, but they usually are better because they completely nullify damage instead of just decreasing it or countering it. Passives. A noble duel, 3 Pride Resonance. If speed of all allies is higher than speed of all enemies, this unit deals more damage based on the speed difference between it and the slowest enemy, plus 6% per 1 point of difference, up to 30%. Actually, this isn't bad. So that's really easy to do since she's already fast, and the slowest enemy is probably going to be at 1 most of the time. So this is actually a really nice damage boosting thing. It is Pride, though, and Pride kind of sucks. Or at least the IDs that have it kind of suck. Support passive, Dueling Request, is exactly the same, except it applies to the fastest ally and is half as effective, so it's not as good as a support passive. This ID seems very, very powerful. The other thing I am going to point out about this is that this combination of Sin resources, first off, it's the same as Kurokuma Rhodia, but the thing about it is it fuels all 3 of these selected ego. Le Sangre de Sancho is 2 Lust, 2 Pride. Fluid Sac is 4 Gloom, 2 Pride, 1 Lust, and Lifetime Stew is 5 Lust. So this is the first time that we have an ID that can realistically fuel all 3 of their currently equipped ego, which is absurdly good, let's be honest. Like, absurdly good. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This is one of the strongest fueling IDs in the game. It would be a lot better if any of these ego were some of the powerful ones. Like, Don's Lifetime Stew rolls really high. It does SP damage, but it relies on the target being staggered or in panic to do a significant amount of damage. And the corrosion is if it's not. 42 to minus 25, though. This is similar rolls to Ardor Blossom Star. It's not quite the same. It doesn't roll quite as high. But yeah. So that's the new ID. I am going to build a team and we're going to test it out. Alright, this is the team I'm running with. This is definitely not the second take. My general first impressions of this Dawn ID is that it's going to be really good in teams that already are built around Faust's Fluid Sac. She clashes really well when she gets high speed. And that's basically all I can say about it at the moment. I'm assuming that it is going to be a staple of most main teams now, just because of the Sin resources that it generates. You can't use it in Sloth like you can with W Dawn, though. I think it's probably balanced in a way that you have to pick between her and W Dawn. It's not an auto-include. Not that W Dawn was ever an auto-include. And I think the most annoying thing is that with W Dawn's passive, this ID would be a lot better. Her support passive, I mean. Which is really awkward, because that is always how it works, right? I actually want to save that. Getting the the speed for her passive seems very easy. It's getting the Pride Resonance that seems tough. Alright, Heath. I see how it is. Yeah, my luck is not the greatest today. I'm losing clashes that I shouldn't be losing. Especially since her main skill is Pride, and I do not have a lot of Pride at the moment. Yeah, just getting the Pride activation is a little awkward, honestly. That's good because that's sanity for everybody, which is super important, especially in fights like these. She seems to be a little mid damage-wise, and I think that's mostly because she's not at Uptie 4. Her Uptie 4 increases the average damage that she deals by a lot, which I'll show that to you after the fight, obviously, because that's what I promised to do. But she is absurdly fast, and I love that. Speed is something that this game kind of lacks a lot of the time. Like, speed control obviously doesn't really matter much in these fights, but in focus fights, it's super important. I am going to use Fluid Sac here because I know most people haven't seen it before. It's not necessarily a good thing to use at the moment, but I just want people to be able to see it. The animations this time around, I'll say, are not as impressive as usual. They're kind of standard. I really like Don's Fluid Sac, for the record. It's a very fun ID. The corrosion of it, she just picks up whoever the target is and beats them on the ground. Like, slams them into the ground repeatedly. It's hilarious. And I probably won't use it here because it's actually... Actually, no, I should use it, because it is a good attack, all things considered. And it's not that hard to feel. I just need a lot of gloom right now. I don't know why Rhodia got... Oh, because of Yisang's base passive, right. I'll take Sanity. That's acceptable. But yeah, basically, what I've been getting at, this seems like a very strong ID. I don't think that's questionable. I think that is exactly where we want the IDs to be at strength-wise. Kind of like how Liu Ishmael was. It's not a Rhino Mersault situation, where it's not as good, you know? How many bullets? You still have 8 bullets. That's impressive. Also, Sangre de Sancho is Pierce. So, yeah. If I have enough to use the corrosion next turn, provided I don't win the fight this turn, then I'll do it. Because that's 2 boosted quick suppressions from Heat. Which is crazy. I've never gotten 2 on the same turn, I don't think. Yeah, this is a very strong ID. Honestly. It's just kind of ridiculous how much damage it deals. Not damage, how well it wins clashes, because her speed is just so high. Am I actually just gonna win the fight this turn? It looks like I might. I kind of want to show the corrosion animation for that ego. Don's Fluid Sac has been in the game since day 1. People just don't use it because it's not Fluid Sac, you know? Yeah, I've got 2 attacks left. 3? Where'd the third one come from? Okay, yeah, we just won the fight that turn. That was, okay. Yeah, so as you can see, this new ID is a little good. I didn't really have to do much there. It took very little effort to think of what I was going to do in those turns. She's not going to top damage, though. That'll be Heathcliff. Rhodia? What? How the heck did that happen? Okay. Yeah, she's really solid. Yeah. So, another thing I want to go over quickly is there were a bunch of base ego that received changes. So I might as well go over those. Crow's Eye View, I believe just the passive changed. When hit by an attack, gain 3 bind next turn and deal 20% damage when attacking with a type or affinity the target is weak or fatal to once per turn. If I open up what this was before, I don't have it saved. Never mind. Actually, yeah, I do. What am I talking about? Before, it was 5 bind, so they buffed this one slightly. Okay. That's not really a big deal. This doesn't really change how this ego works at all, so it's fine. Faust's fluid representation emitter got changed 2 updates ago, but I forgot to go over it. It heals 10 SP for 3 other allies with the least SP instead of for everybody. And the passive, instead of giving you 2 power-up for the first 10 turns of combat, it gives you, it gives an ally SP heal efficiency, whenever an enemy gets staggered by this character. SP heal efficiency is 20% per stack, so it's not terrible. It's just not nearly as powerful as it was before. It got nerfed pretty hard. Don's base ego, Le Sangre de Sancho. The attack didn't change. The passive heals you if the target had bleed. This new ID does not inflict bleed, so this is not that relevant, but this does, so whatever. You'll probably be running it in teams with bleed. Most of the stuff that has the IDs you'd want inflict bleed, like Faust and Kurikubo Ryoshu. Speaking of Ryoshu, Force for the Flames makes this unit deal and take 5% more damage for each enemy this unit defeated, which is a little bit of a buff. It used to give slash damage up and fragile to you, which is more damage, but it only affects specific damage types. I'm assuming they changed this so you could use it more efficiently with every type of ID. Hong Lu is base ego. At the start of the combat phase, heal SP for the ally with the least SP by the count of your highest absolute resonance value, excluding those in panic. This used to be just Gloom resonance, so this is technically a buff. This is probably the strongest base ego now, just because it's AoE, but there's not really much else to say about it. Body Sack got nerfed. It only gives you 1 attack power-up and haste, but it doesn't give you fragile anymore. So it's kind of like both a nerf and a buff? I'm not sure. And it's also capped at 3, so you no longer get absurd roll values on Heathcliff, which is kind of warranted, honestly. He was a little strong. Let's be real. Snag Harpoon didn't change, I know that. What is cast? As you can see, got changed a bit. It just makes her SP changes 20% more powerful instead of making her lose a ton of SP whenever an enemy gets killed. And this one, I don't know, it might honestly be a nerf. In single target fights, like boss fights, the 10% slash damage was nice, but I guess it doesn't really matter anymore. Branch of Knowledge is the only one whose attack actually got changed. It inflicts 12 Rupture, but that's unchanged. But Head's Hit now loses 10 SP. Tail's Hit now heals 10 SP. I think this is objectively worse than what it used to do. It would give you attack power down on use. The problem is that losing SP on Head's Hit is annoying, and gaining SP on Tail's Hit is just as annoying if you somehow manage to use it on Sinclair, not that you would want to. Yeah, it's just a little bit of an awkward change, in my opinion. Obviously, not having attack power down is fine, but whatever. And the passive is, if a skill's coin hits with a different side from the previous coin on the same skill, lose 5 SP and gain 1 damage up this turn up to 3 times. This is so situational and also hurts every ID except for N. Sinclair. But again, you're probably not using this ego with N. Sinclair anyways, so who cares, you know? Yeah, it's very strange. I don't know how to feel about it. It was one of the strongest base ego, and now I don't know how to feel about it anymore. Ah, God, my leg hurts. Whatever. Otis's base ego just got a strict buff it stacks up to 3 times now. Like, if you don't take damage for 3 turns, that's plus 30% damage until you get hit again. Which is just really good. I don't know why they buffed this. It was already great. But whatever, I'm not PM. And then lastly, suddenly one day got nerfed. At the start of the turn, if below 25% HP, heal 15 HP and gain 2 protection. While this effect activates, inflict 1 random other ally and 1 random enemy with 2 SP loss efficiency. Before, this was... One moment. It was, if below 25% HP, heal 15 SP and gain 2 protection. And an ally loses 15 SP. So I guess this isn't strictly a debuff. I guess it is more of a buff, but it is, like... It's still very bad. Because it's low HP activation, which means it's probably not going to do anything anyways. Okay, now on to the most important thing. What does Cinq Association Don do at Uptie 4? That is not Uptie. So, again, I'm not going to be doing this, but I'll go over each change. Remaze, changes to 2 coin power up. So this changes from a 4 to 12 to a 4 to 14 when at 7+ speed, which is incredibly good. Flash gains the effect Clash Wind, deal more damage based on clash count, 5% per clash count. This is the same skill effect on our skill 3, so it's just more damage, which is never something you would want to complain about. And then Salute gets an additional coin power at 10+ speed, so instead of a 6 to 22, it becomes a 6 to 24. The additional damage from the Clash Wind effect is doubled, both in per clash count and the maximum. And the second coin gains on kill heal 15 SP, which is most likely not going to matter. At that point, you're probably at max SP anyways. And then her defense skill becomes Pride, which is interesting. I have a feeling that most IDs at Uptie 4 are going to do this now, because it's just something that you would expect, right? In terms of this ID being Uptied, it's definitely very strong. I haven't looked at any of the other Uptie 4 stuff yet. I'm going to do that tomorrow. By tomorrow, I mean when this video goes up, I'm going to do that yesterday. But to me, it seems like this is an ID that you would just want to Uptie, because it just gains a lot of effects on it. Oh, I didn't even notice that. These change from heads hit after Clash Wind to hit after Clash Wind, or on hit. So these are actually slightly buffed too, not that you would worry about heads hits once you're at high sanity. But yeah, it just seems really good. So for those who don't know, there's a lot of things that can change in Uptie. Mostly it's just going to be the numbers. Most IDs are not going to gain additional effects, I don't think. This is one of the IDs that seems like it's incredibly powerful at Uptie 4. So if you like this ID, then you definitely want to use it for that purpose. Again, I do not have nearly enough thread to do Uptie 4s myself, so I'm sorry, but when new IDs come out, I'm not going to be able to review them in combat as Uptie 4. I hope you don't mind that, but I think reviewing them at Uptie 3 is a little bit more beginner-friendly anyways, since if there are new people coming into the game and just want to know what the ID is about, then I want to show it at a point where you can reasonably get it in a short amount of time. Like this. This is like a week's worth of grinding. If you're just doing dailies and nothing else, I should clarify. If you want, you can spend as many modules as you want and get all the stuff you need right away. But it's about a week's worth of daily thread grinding to get up to Uptie 3. And it's 8 runs through the highest level XP excavation to get to level 30, I believe. So yeah, this is a really nice ID. This is about online of what I would want new 3 stars to look like, I'd say. There's not a lot of coins. Her effects gaining more damage after clash wins, that has always been one of the best effects in the game. You can see that on G Corp Greg. You can see that on Base Sinclair, actually. It's one of the better base IDs, if you didn't know. But yeah, that's about everything I have to say about this one. I am going to put her into my company so that anybody who friends me and wants to try out the ID before getting it themselves can. I am also going to not have the newest ego equipped for once. I'm going to have Fluid Sac equipped because it's better for this ID specifically. Trust me, this ego is a lot better than it looks. It does a lot of things, and I'll be excited to look at it at Uptie 4. So, what's on the docket for Limbus Company this week, then?
이 근처에 괜찮은 레스토랑이 있다네. 디저트는
I'm going to do...
함께 가지 않겠는가?
Can you shut up, please? I'm going to do 2 more videos this week on Limbus Company. I'm going to do one going over all of the Uptie 4s for all of the identities that we already have, excluding this one because I've already gone over it in this video. And I'm going to do one going over all the thread spin level 4s for all the ego, so that we can see what all of those do. Yeah, basically that is it. So, I guess in terms of upcoming stuff that I'm planning on doing, Pikmin 4 comes out the day that this video is being uploaded. Expect there to be Pikmin 4 content on this channel, because I love the Pikmin series, and I just want to be able to play it for y'all, because it is a great game series, and I really hope Pikmin 4 is good, because I've been waiting for a while. Aside from that, that's a good voice line. I'll say it right now, that's a good voice line for this menu, because it's not intrusive at all. But thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. I hope that you leave a like and a subscribe because it helps me out. I'll be back probably tomorrow with the Uptie 4 identities, and then Sunday for the ego. I don't know, that's subject to change. And I hope to see you back later. Bye!